Psychiatry for a Mad World. An extract from the book. The answer is that for many people, the need to be perceived as mentally grown and sexy far outweighs the need to actually be grown and sexy in reality. So long as potential mates believe an individual to be grown, the individual can remain mentally stunted and still get to have sex and so pass on their genes. This perception of growth is what I call the ladder of social esteem. We want people to think we are high up on the ladder so we can appear to be sexy and so find a mate. It is a selfish desire. The reality can be quite different from the perception. People may believe we are high up on the ladder, but in reality our real lack of talent may place us quite low down in actual status. Human nature here is split into two possible paths for survival. 1. Be grown, navigate life successfully and be sexy in reality, or 2. Be mentally stunted but succeed in appearing sexy by getting others to perceive you as grown, not in reality. The way the stunted individual gets to be perceived as grown and sexy is to tell lies. When another person believes the lie, they are believing something which does not reflect reality. They now have a delusion. Here then we have found the birth of a mental illness, generated by the need for genetic survival. Dr. Zab was criticising Hugh when he implied that he was mentally ill, and with the stigma of mental illness being such as it is, Zab was saying that Hugh was low down on the ladder of social esteem. Zab was endeavouring to make Hugh's self-perception match the reality of what he was, i.e. he was making Hugh's mental map more accurate. Hugh's violent reaction to Dr. Zab was because he was frightened of slipping down the ladder of social esteem. The truth which Zab revealed made Hugh look foolish. Instinctively and unconsciously, Hugh knew he would seem unsexy, and so his genes were threatened with extinction. His genes fought to survive and drove him to aggressively attack Dr. Zab. Hugh's anger was fighting the truth which Zab was revealing, that, in reality, Hugh was lower on the ladder of reality. There is more here than just Hugh being inadequate. When Zab picked up on Hugh's bullying behaviour towards Susan, he was getting close to Hugh's conscience, or rather lack of it. When we are questioned on matters of conscience, it generates a particularly violent defensive reaction, as we saw in the explosive dialogue between Hugh and Dr. Zab. This is an overwhelmingly powerful mechanism which is part of our selfish genetic makeup. This genetically motivated selfishness, which often harms others, is what I call genetic psychopathy. On the ladder of social esteem, we place conscientious people higher up. If there is something in our genes which makes us selfish, why then do we hold decent people in high regard? The answer is, again, because we are selfish. Kind people are useful to have around. When we are involved with a kind, altruistic person, we know that they are not going to abuse us or take from us, and will often support us instead. And if they support us, they will help us to survive and pass on our genes. So it is to our own selfish advantage to have altruistic people in our lives. So altruistic people are in demand as mates. It follows then that if we want others to desire us as a mate, we need to appear to be altruistic. Again, the need for people to perceive us as altruistic outweighs the need to be altruistic in reality. If people believe us to be altruistic, we can still find a mate, while still carrying on with our selfish ways behind the scenes where no one is looking. We then win twice. If we can lie to hide our selfishness, we can be attractive to mates and also gain from our selfish behaviour. This is the reason why selfish people who have genetic psychopathy, are compelled to maintain a decent public image at all costs. They have to present an altruistic public image to safeguard their own selfish desire to pass on their genes. By a twisted logic, although the genetic psychopath clambers to be seen as altruistic and high on the ladder of social esteem, they do not actually admire people who are higher up. In fact, most of us dislike the people higher up on the ladder because they make us look small by comparison. We want to be seen as kind, and we want kind mates, but curiously we often don't like people who are kind. The idea of self-importance is what psychologists call narcissism, and the overblown public image which narcissists try to maintain is called their false self. So this anger that we see in Hugh is his gene's way of ensuring their survival. It is genetically selfish anger.